This podcast is being recorded on unceded Anishinaabe Algonquin territory. This podcast is also rated R and F. The F is for Fuck Whitey. Fuck Whitey as a staff record label and as a motherfucking crew. And if you want to be down with Whitey, then fuck you too.
Bonfire!
Welcome, bienvenue à un autre épisode of Shut Up Podcast. I am your host, B Black, aka Mr. ShutUpPodcast.com, aka the controversial Canadian Negro, aka Le Grand Papa B, aka Gaston Lucien Big Daddy Labrador. All right, let me just bold this one. I don't know if you heard that. I meant to say controversial Canadian Negro. Controversial, yeah. I was thinking about, God forbid, a white listener sees me on the street and say, "Aren't you the controversial Negro?" I'll say Canadian. Don't forget Canadian. All right. Today's date is July 15, 2026. Shout out to those of you who got paid today. And we are at episode 355. And I think in this episode I will be talking about life, dating, and being single. I don't know. I'm going to paint a picture based on those three items, those three words. But before we do any of that, I would like to share some quotables and some randomness. Yeah. You can't tell, but I do it for you listeners. I want props to this, but I turned off the AC in this room, and I thought I properly chilled this place, but maybe I should have closed the door. But whatever, it's getting warmer, but I'll tough it out. I mean, this is for my ancestors. It was for you and my ancestors. All right, first item. First one on the quotables. Yes, that's right. We're starting with quotables. This one I found interesting. And from the ADHD meme therapy, it came up on my social feed and Instagram, and it goes, neurotypical person, you take things too literally. Neurodivergent person, you say you don't mean to casually. You say things you don't mean to casually, too often.
Message.
Yeah. I think us neurodivergent can relate to that. It's, look, yes or no? Do you mean it or not? You bullshit or not? You joking or you being fucking serious? All right, calm down. Anyways, next, I'm doing something a little different. Next quotable is actually not something I'm going to read. It's something I'm going to play by Dr. Rhea. And I noticed that, again, this showed up on my timeline twice. And both are people playing her voice, saying something, and everyone is the camera's just focused on them, listening to them. So I'm kind of doing the same. Granted, you can't see me, but it's words worth sharing by Dr. Rhea. And, of course, links will be in the show notes.
He said black people say it to black people all the time, but it's a problem when white people do it.
Gays say their slurs to gays. Girls say their slurs to girls. It's almost like in-group endearment and out-group attacks are two different things, right? Yeah. Women call each other bitch affectionately all the time. Feels a little different coming from a strange man on the street, doesn't it? My gay friends call each other the F slur in jest. Us straights don't join in because we understand we're not in that group. None of this confuses you. You navigate these rules perfectly every single day without thinking about it. My daddy calls my mommy honey cakes. You, an outsider, don't get to call her that. But you already know why. There's no Jubilee debates about it, no Fox News panels discussing it, because everyone understands. Until we get to this one group and this one word, suddenly every social norm you follow effortlessly everywhere else goes out the window, and you're standing there befuddled like a fool that a term of endearment between family isn't open to the stranger hurling it as a violent attack. You understand just fine. You prove it every other day with every other group and every other word. But this is the one you want access to because this is the group you're addicted to. There's a reason ethicists and psychologists describe racism as an abandonment of reason, because suddenly All cognitive function goes haywire, and that high IQ I keep hearing about stops IQing. Every other in-group word, you understand the line without a second thought. But only for this group and only for this word that turns your brain to mush like a cerebrally challenged heroin addict going through withdrawal. You got these intense cravings, agitation, you're restless, sweating, turning red, watery eyes, you're irritable, desperate, single-minded fixation on getting the next dose of sinful slurs, a pathetic junkie, but chin up. Recovery is possible. First, admitting that you let a stranger's skin tone run your entire life. Let go of the drug. Be free. Let us pray. Heads down. Down.
Heads down. I was thinking of both ways. On one end, you have white people confused about why can't I say the N word? And again, you can say it. You just can't escape the consequences. On the other end, you got black people who are also confused at well, we say it to ourselves. Why should we? It's the point about we're not an exception. We're not the only group who taking slurs that were used against them and remixed it for ourselves, but with the instinct impression of, this is amongst family. Stay the fuck out of it. But white people, slavery fucked them up. They're convinced that, hey, we were entitled to your bodies, to you as a human. You know what? I'm saying too much. All right, okay. Shout out to Dr. Rhea. Links will be in the show notes. Okay, that's it for Quotables. Randomness.
So you're a philosopher?
Yes.
Yeah. For those of you wondering, what's the difference between randomness and quotables? It's just an excuse for me to play different sound effect, all right? Why? It's my goddamn podcast. Goddamn podcast. All right. Okay, these two items, the next two items I recently just added them. And someone on Thread was going around asking black men who are in therapy, what made you go into therapy? And I found myself remembering how, I could give you the long story, but the short story is the choice was between suicide or therapy. And what I mean by that, not to sound all tough, but what I mean by that is suicide, death was feeling more and more like the ideal solution. Like I was looking at people dying and I'm like feeling like they're the lucky ones. I'm starting feeling like this life is just unbearable. Reaching that point. And I've always said that it was a luck that I managed to drag myself into therapy. I think two things helped. That A is I was familiar with therapy, so I've gone into therapy before, and second thing is I was a fan of Sopranos and watching Tony Soprano, big mob boss, going into therapy. It's like I'm trying to say the Sopranos helped me normalize. That's not true. Not just the Sopranos. Because I was in comedy and I was in the comedy community. And a lot of people were in therapy. But on the list of things that helped me normalize or get rid of the stigma of therapy, Soprano is definitely on that list. But yeah, no, I guess the more I'm thinking about it, the more I understand certain folks, certain fellas, and the stigma. It's getting into therapy wasn't easy. It's not getting into therapy. It's getting over the stigma. That was a big deal. And that's the wild part, man. There's a lot of black men who could benefit from therapy, but look, here's hoping that because my response was I'm a joker. My response to the person asking was, I flipped a coin and I said heads. It's gonna be heads, suicide, tails, therapy, and I landed on tails. That's another way of saying it was luck. I don't know. I might make a bit out of it. We'll see. Anyway, yeah. So that's it, man. fellas, don't be scared of therapy. And
Y'all motherfuckers need to gangbang them books.
yeah, that's my way of saying be smart. Be smart about it. I mean, don't let them win. That's really what I'm trying to say. Don't let them win. Oh yeah, and it kind of helps to get a black therapist. Yeah, that was the other thing too. I made sure to get a black therapist because the last thing, had I gone to a white therapist and I brought up race and they said, well, you just gotta brush it off, or shit like that, I might have choked her to death. I don't know why I said her, but choked them to death.
So you're a philosopher?
Yes.
Right. Again, I just added this to the randomness list because it's supposed to be short. And I got to my desktop computer, and this is some nerd shit, by the way. And Windows 11 installed itself. My computer upgraded itself to Windows 11. And the only reason I bring it up, I don't remember consenting to that shit. And I only bring it up to make a topic about to bring up consent, because initially I was going to talk about how Christians and consent, or how consent is a foreign concept to Christians. But that's a longer conversation. I'll bring it up. But I just thought it was interesting how I was about to bitch about Christians not able to understand the concept of consent. And then Windows 11 does this shit to me. Like, for all I know, there's a bunch of spy equipment on this shit. Like, Windows 11 is uploading my podcast to Whitey, and it's only a matter of time before the FBI is tapping my telephone. Shout out to Public Enemy.
So you're a philosopher?
Yes.
All right, this is another nerd skit that I feel the need to share, and it's about this content creator. Let me get her name. Post about how what's her name? Oh, I don't. Is it Alberta Tech? Essentially, I'll try to find her name, but essentially, the title is how vibe coding fixed my imposter syndrome.
Vibe coding has completely fixed my imposter syndrome. Not because I'm a vibe coder, but the opposite. I used to be like, yeah, I'm a software engineer, but I can't really ever remember when the memory gets allocated to the heap versus the stack. Now I have guys in sales DMing me a link to localhost 3000, asking me why they're getting a null pointer exception in their JavaScript code, which is a language that doesn't even have pointers. Where the f did you find a pointer, Steve? And the worst thing is, these guys don't even have imposter syndrome. And listen, I wouldn't wish imposter syndrome on anyone. But if you're actually an imposter, it's not a syndrome. And yes, you can call yourself a vibe coder if you want. But the other day I sat next to this guy on the plane who goes, you're a software engineer? Me too. But as soon as we lose Wi-Fi and he can't ask ChatGPT to fix his code, I watch him try to fix it himself by putting a semicolon in the middle of a line of code. And I'm watching him run it over and over and get the same error every time, so I lean over and go, you gotta get rid of the semicolon. And he says to me, oh, it might seem silly for beginners, but actually in coding, you always have to have a semicolon. He was coding in Python.
Mic drop. Coding in Python. The joke is that there's no semicolons in Python, or it's optional, whatever. But the point is, the motherfucker wasn't programming the right way. Didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And the name of the content creator is Alberta Tech. Again, the link will be in the show notes. Homegirl is a white woman speaking. And the point I'm about to make, the reason I bring up her race is because it's if I was her friend, I'd say, homegirl, there is nothing more confident. No one is more confident than a mediocre white male. Sure, there's some black males who are mediocre and who feel more confident than a woman. But my point is, I can relate. I can relate to what she was saying. I can relate to the imposter syndrome. But first, let me explain why this hits home. First, let me explain what a vibe coder is. I'm looking up the definition. Vibe coder. Vibe coding is an intent-driven, prompt-first approach to software development where you describe the vibe or goal of your project, natural language, and let AI build the actual app or website for you. You don't write the code line by line. Instead, you guide the AI intuitively by reviewing the live output and testing. I was going to go in the comment section and joke about how, well, according to AI, I am not a vibe coder. I don't do vibe. See, the difference is I I am not a software engineer, even though I've applied for software engineering jobs. I'm more of a software mechanic. I do have a programming background. I have written code before in school, actually in at work too, but nothing like no, that's not true. No, okay. Oh my god. I have an extensive career. Okay, back. I've programmed before. I am a programmer, but I'm better at fixing code than I am at writing code. So I know what the fuck what I'm doing. I have used AI in the same way vibe coders use AI to, hey, I'm trying to write this, that. The difference is I actually know when the code gets spit out, I can understand what's going on, especially the error, or do things like, hey, instead of you have the function working that way, let's go another way. What I like about this approach is how it also allows me to learn new programming languages. Yeah. But yeah, I think part of me bringing this up is also the fact that I was going to make it I'm integrating is the usage of AI and realizing how I use AI, and I'm starting to feel like AI is becoming less popular. When I mean less popular, not being used less, but like negative opinions about AI are starting to come around. And what's wild is I'm not usually the type to go against the majority. You're a follower? No, that's what I'm getting at. Oh, whatever, man. I mean, I am not a shit disturber, rock the boat type of person. You know, like if the mob is going one way, I am not going against the mob. But when it comes to specific use of AI, it's the one place where it's one of those die on that hill. I do not deny the fact that it's bad for the environment and or the damages it does to the environment, or I think what's going to happen, I guess I still remember when the internet was the new thing. And a lot of people were like, oh, fuck, it's just a fad. Granted, no one was complaining about how whatever damages it does, or it's going to change this or that or whatever. But this is what makes it different between AI and the internet, is the fact that a lot of young people seem to, all my information is based off the internet because I'm not in school anymore, but the internet, or at least my timeline, has me convinced that a lot of young youths aren't into AI, and which is kind of weird because usually it's the young who set the standards, set the trend, and whatnot. So I think that's what makes this change in the world different. But I don't deny, man, the powers that be, fuck it, as they say that, it's, I believe in that saying, go figure, The Matrix, movie about AI, go figure. And the machines, and where the Merovingi, one of the characters in The Matrix, the second one, he says, choice is an illusion between those in power and those who don't have power, or those in control and those who don't have control. Meaning those of us at the bottom of the food chain, if the power of the be decided, your little protest or your little comments on the internet, I need to be careful. I don't want to disrespect people who are anti-AI, as long as you don't disrespect me for using AI. But I do want to acknowledge is if your only way of combating AI is disrespecting people who are using AI, dude, you're lost. You're just going to be under the wheel. You're not helping the cause. especially when the people who some of the people who use AI, this is the first time I've had something be patient with me. Like it's like when the robots rise up, they'll be like, "Hey, Skynet, I'm on your side." Yeah. Anyways, just a thought, just my own thought. But yeah, shout out to Homegirl for that thought about. Homegirl Alberta Tech for that thought about imposter syndrome, because I can relate to at the beginning of my career. I remember feeling. I had that moment. I know exactly what she's talking about, and I'm glad that these vibe coders have allowed her to recognize, to look herself in the mirror and say, "Man, I may not be the greatest, but I ain't like them."
So you're a philosopher?
Yes.
All right. The last one is I call it "Don't make me defend Jay-Z." Out of all people, don't make me defend you. I guess what I'm getting at is, if you're gonna diss him for legitimate shit. I'm going to play a freestyle that he recently performed, and which I thought made sense. But again, my timeline's been filled with people going, "Oh, he missed the mark," "Oh, he," all kinds of bullshit. But let me just play it, and then I'll share my thoughts about it. So here's hoping YouTube doesn't kick me off for it.
Yeah, I did sell out 3 nights. I sold Yankee Stadium the hell out. I'm a target. You ain't. Don't miss that target. No exclusive. They only doing what Apple and Walmart did. You shopping at Amazon or you boycott? You posting on Instagram? That's Meta, boy. Stop it. Y'all know Google owns YouTube. You picking and choosing the politicking as usual. They digging deep for narratives. It's embarrassing. They run out of characters, had to bring back up Cap again. Buddy took a check. I ain't even mad at him. But along with that check, gotta sign a non-disparagement. I'm the one they can't control. Y'all better be glad as hell. I'm the one they can't control. You better be glad as him. $500 million back in the community. That's just good math for him. I don't listen to Twitter activists. They type and I laugh at them. There's really no comparison. Y'all check my stats again. I'm bringing folks home to their family. Laws get passed cause him. You can like it or not. We don't do no ass kissing. Ex-drug dealer. You might not like the packaging, but my presence is a present and my gift is rapid. Oh shit! Let's get on some Brooklyn.
All right. I'm laughing. Excuse me. I think things, they make me laugh, and then I realize that, maybe I should share what I'm talking about with this. All right. I'm realizing that I'm walking a tightrope with this one because I just remembered Jay-Z has done some kind of deal with Target, a group a store which I was under the impression we as black people decided to boycott. I wouldn't know anything about it because there's no Target in my city, so that's my Target. That's my contribution to the boycott. It's like, I wish they were here so I could boycott the motherfuckers. Anyways, yeah, we don't have a Target in I don't have in Ottawa. I don't know if there's one in Toronto or whatever. I'm not going to Google it. But yeah, fuck Target. And shout out to those boycotting it. I have no idea what the deal is with Jay-Z endorsing Target, but I do know it's kind of bold on his part to be like, "Oh, black people are boycotting it. I'm going to join it." Like this, and here's what I'm getting at. Before I criticize the dude, I need to get all the details. I will say this. There's a lot of people way too quick to jump on it to be like, "Yo, fuck that nigga. He sold us out and whatnot and blah, blah, blah." So far, let's be clear. I don't know Jay-Z personally, but so far there's been a certain consistency in what he's been doing. And the reason I brought up his freestyle is two things. Is one is what he said about YouTube being owned by what was the word? I'm not gonna look it up. But okay, sell out. They said sold out. Yeah, I did sell out. The night's okay. Concern, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't see the lyrics. I can't find the lyrics. Oh man, what the fuck? Anyways, let's see if I look up freestyle sellout. It's all right. Lyrics. It's the internet. Did I mention inside? Roots Picnic freestyle lyrics. Is that it? No. Not the one. That's not it. Maybe it's not available. Oh, I can't find it. Doesn't matter. All right. Did not come prepared for this. All right, but I like the word he used, Twitter activists, and or the links he made. Here's what I'm getting at. I grew up around activists, not to say around activists, but I understand that when I was in high school or college, late teens, I was a rebel and whatnot, and joined I've done joining the active pre-internet shit. And the one thing I like that he highlights is motherfuckers going on YouTube to criticize or to talk shit about, like, that's their activism. Just talking shit. You know what? That's their activism. I'll fucking Dr. Umar. I've never been impressed by that dude because everything, it's like he created an image of being, I'm the pro-black character, but I don't see, like, are you effective? I think that the bottom line is, are you effective, or are you just that dude selling DVDs with all your speeches and whatnot? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's movers and shaker. I guess I'm not a big fan of telling people with talent with what to do with their talent, what they should be doing with their talent. I'm thinking of there's a scene in Billions, I love it, in Billions where the TV show Billions, where the scholar type character is criticizing this dude working in the government and about how you're not doing the right thing. And it was just a clear image of, see, this is why you're you and I'm me. This is why I'm in a position where I can change things. See, you could be the person who says all the right things and the person who's trying to do the right thing. Am I making sense? It's like there's a reason to get in the... Okay, perfect example is Obama. I think Obama is a perfect example, and I'm realizing this is turning into a final say, so I'll try to keep it short. But Obama is... I did not join the criticism of Obama, calling him the whatever, or Kamala Harris, calling her genocide Harris and whatever, or whatever, right? And the thing is, in order for them to get to where they are, they had to play the game. They had to convince the motherfuckers who control things, you're not going to crash our plane. Meaning, it's a fucked up balance you got to play between the motherfuckers who say how it is and the people who can't. I guess I'm trying to say I don't know enough. I need to know more information before I diss someone for not being or not acting the way I would have acted if I was in their shoes. I remember there was a picture going around of Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting at a table with what's her name, Trump's Ivanka Trump and her husband, and it pissed me off. It really did, and I was getting ready to get on that fuck Jay-Z thing until I looked up what that image was about. And the truth is, he was putting on some kind of charity for It's initiative that he's into. Something about parole or jails and helping, I won't say criminal, people in prison wrongly convicted. I don't know, just to reform the prison system, just to make it like it's a fucked up system, and that's his big thing. And he did a charity about it, and he invited the movers and shakers, but he invited the people who he knew would advance his cause. That's the thing. Maybe they're not friends, but he does know how to ally himself with people who get the needle moving. That's what I'm trying to say. Look, man, all I know is I've learned I've lived long enough to know the difference between the people who talk and the motherfuckers who shoot the breeze about it and the motherfuckers who are about it. Shout out to Niles. Shout out to Niles for that one. All right. Okay. Wow. Not bad for a episode that was supposed to be short. All right. That's it for Quotable and Randomness. Time for final say. But before we do that, I'm going to take a quick break. Picture perfect. I paint a perfect picture. Bomb the hoochie with precision. My intention is to get richer. Oh, I fucked up that flow. Hey, I'm back. All right. I cannot decide. Two clips. All right. Okay, you know what? No, I'm not going to play the clips, but I am going to make the links available in the show notes because I can't decide which one to start with. But I do know two clips are inspired. The audio picture I intend to draw, I intend to paint later. This is why I tend to paint in this final say. This is why I said life, dating, and being single. I'm going to try to combine these three items together. Maybe I should throw in therapy in there. All right. So the first clip will be labeled in the show notes. Why aren't boys bragging about being young dads and husband? And the content creator's name is, I should have looked that up. It's as told by Indy. I don't read good. I have to stare because there's no space, but as told by Indy. And the second clip is called The Worst Day of Your Life by Bridget Foster. Did I get that right? Oh, excuse me, Bridget Foster. Woo, how embarrassing. Bridget Foley. White woman, her name is Bridget Foley. The first one is black woman. All right. The Worst Day of Your Life is a message on her part. I think a award-winning writer. She's a comedian too, right? And she's saying that, when you're picking someone to marry, you're picking, or when you're dating with the intention of marrying or whatever, or finding someone to share a life with, you're trying to pick someone who's going to be there for the worst day of your life. During your worst day of your life. It's not just about, I agree so much with this, with her intention, with what she's saying. It's not just about taking beautiful pictures, about being a couple and whatnot. No, you want a partner. And I feel like this is something that I never properly registered when I was a child and imagining a future where I was going to have a wife, kids, a white picket fence. Actually, I thought I was going to be a pro-black Canadian rapper. Like I was going to be supposed to be more successful than Drake, but that's a different story. But yeah, but when I started to grow up, I was in the transition between graduating from high school and going to college. I had imagined, of course, the life that everyone told me I was supposed to have. Again, I grew up in a church, so I was going to be the Christian that my parents wanted me to be, and I was going to have they were going to have a daughter-in-law and some kids, some grandchildren. That was the future. That was supposed to be the future. And what's interesting is how we joke about how a lot of us kids from immigrants who were like told when we were teens, it's like, hey, stay away from these girls, focus on, excuse me, stay away from these girls, focus on your books. The assumption is that, you were going to grow up to be a heterosexual. It's more the idea of there's a lot of these parents who told their kids to stay away from these girls, focus on their books. And now, now that they're gay, it's like, fuck, I fucked up. I turned them gay. Okay, girl, let me back up. All right. So this is a freestyle if you can't tell. I didn't write the shit down. All I know is I was inspired by these two women, the content of these two women. And yeah, so when I was a child, imagine the future being a white picket fence. I hadn't figured out this whole dating shit. And the worst part is my parents were the worst person to talk to about it because they were like, don't be a hoe, focus on your studies, and then worrying about your getting married. And then, then college was done, I got my first job, and they're like, how come you aren't married? And I couldn't have an honest conversations about with, like, dude, I couldn't, this whole dating, did you not see my dating resume? Did you not see my past? How fucked up it was? I had the dating experience that made me turn away from my journey into dating was the kind of journey that made me like, yeah, I suck at this shit. I don't know what the fuck what I'm doing. I didn't know things like getting to know your own self, loving yourself before you love someone else. Things, just a general thing. And the reason I bring up the other woman who was talking about dating as a how no men, what's the actual word she says? No men imagines themselves being married at a young age. And yeah, that's true. I remember thinking I need to get my shit together. I need to be rich, then get married. So I could be like, I need ball out of the control and then being like, being that ideal black guy in the black rom-com movie. So I could say, yeah, I'm a lawyer. I have several investments and 3 cars. And I believe the term they use today is a high valued male. And all that shit. So that was the plan. But yes, there was no, what the fuck, get married at 15, at 16, 18? I'm still getting my life together. No, let me be rich. To be honest with you, I didn't know, know thyself. There was no journey into know thyself. But I always pictured the way I was going to get married. It was going to start by a phone call from some girl saying, I'm pregnant and it's yours. And I'm like, fuck! And it's going to be some chick that I barely know, barely like. It was just supposed to be a fling. we get together. We hate each other's guts. But we're probably all Christians. But we're going to make this shit work for the kids, right? So I always thought it was going to start with a phone call. And I was going to be like, all right, let me make an honest woman out of you, bitch. And then spend the rest of my life bitter. I'm like, you ruined my fucking life. I knew I should have pulled out. I knew you were fucking fertile, but I should have, I should have known better. Goddamn liquor, whatever, right? Again, I had a fucked up image of what marriage life was about. It wasn't about love. It was about tolerating another human being. It was about going to work, hang out with the fellas, and bitch about my wife. Oh, fuck, man, she won't let me do shit, man. I'd be fucking her if it wasn't for my bitch wife at home. I had an ugly image of what relationship was supposed to be. And what's wild is how I only realized that when I hit 50. When I hit 50 and I'm in therapy and realizing and thinking about how feeling like a disappointment. Life didn't turn out the way I thought it was supposed to turn out. And that's actually the problem. It's because I had this image of what it was supposed to be, as opposed to what I wanted it to be.
Message.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm feeling deep here. Oh my God. I gotta remember, man. Remember, I
didn't come here to preach to you today.
I'm not preaching. I'm just speaking my mind right now. I am just reacting off the words of these two women and how it had me thinking about dating. Yes. I had a fucked up image about relationships and women. I thought women were like what's the word? Fuck. They're the ones that king selectors. Ah, man, I'm surprised I forgot the word. But I blame the porn that I discovered as a child. By the way, if you've listened to this podcast, this is a recurring theme. I bring up a lot about how I discovered porn at a young age, and my life went downhill from, well, not my life, but any hope I had for a love life went downhill after that point. Because I wasn't looking for a partner. Well, I was, but I was looking for someone to say, see these scenes that I've watched on this TV? I want to reenact that shit. And I need you to make that possible. I wasn't thinking about who she was as a human being and things like that, or partnership. Nah, we didn't use that word back then, but I wanted a baddie. Not to say there's anything wrong with baddies or pursuing baddies, but it's the idea of, if you're looking for someone to be there during the worst part of your life, you're going to have to look past physical attraction. Do you know what I mean? And again, what's wild is how it's easier for me to understand that now than it did when I was younger. I'm convinced that my brain was short-circuited by sex. It's like I couldn't see, I was like obsessed with having sex. All my relationship goals was just about, hey, will you let me put my penis in your vagina? That's all it was about. And it was, I think about the women who actually genuinely liked me. I couldn't see that. Genuinely liked me. Like, they were the ones I could have a serious conversation about. Okay, let's see if we can move down this path of partnership. But the whole time I'm like, so you put out or what? You gonna make me wait? What the fuck? You know, I'm like, that was the only quality I looked like. I'm not gonna call it regret. I'm gonna call it I just did not know. Here's hoping. I think my hope is, I was thinking a lot about how when I was initially going to talk about dating, and how I don't feel like I'm in the right position to talk to any young man about dating, because all I can tell you about is how to fail. No, I can tell you what won't work. If you need to talk, if you want to have that conversation, I'm your man. I can tell you what will not work. I can't tell you what will work, but I can tell you for sure. But I guess you got to get to a point where you're humble enough to be like, hey, let me make sure I'm on the right path. Hey, B Black, when you were a young man, did you find yourself doing this? Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, don't. It's not going to work out. I tell you one thing for sure is, when they ask me what advice you would give to young man, stay the fuck away from the manosphere. Don't trust them niggas from the manosphere. They are tapping into the fact that you're young, dumb, and full of cum. They're tapping into this notion that you are entitled to a woman's body, or entitled to her availability. They're tapping into all these shit, and the thing is, they're taking advantage of your ignorance, which life will have a lot of people who will do that. Yeah, what did I say? Life, dating, and staying single? Yeah, I can, I'm enjoying the single life, especially the realization that I have these days. I'm enjoying the single life the same way I would enjoy being in a relationship. I remember probably one of the wisest thing I feel that I've wisest thing that I've found myself thinking about is if I bitch about this life that I have, I'm likely going to bitch about the life I think I should have had. Does that make sense? Like I remember telling myself, whatever path that I'm on, don't bitch about it. Whether I'm with someone or I'm single, don't bitch about it. Don't make it like, again, like I said, I honestly thought the point of a relationship, like bitching about your relationship, bitching about your partner, taking them for granted was part of being a husband. Not a good husband, a husband. And again, it's funny how I saw marriage the same way I saw a job. In that it's that thing you get so you can convince everyone else that you're an adult or that you have your shit together. It's all presentation. It's like clothing. It's just things you just, so you can convince people that, hey, here's my book. Yeah, I have my shit figured out. Yes, I'm closer to the Almighty than you are. I'm better than you. You know, all that. That's all it was, which is wrong. I have a friend who's getting married, and the shit feels for real. Like, I'm genuinely happy for the guy because it's not like I'm just scared of being alone. No, he actually found someone he can go who shares interests. He can go to places together. Like it just feels like that's what I realized. The real relationships inspire you to be like, I like what they got. And if I were to change my status, I would have what they got. Yeah, don't let yourself get talked down to by people who are like in mediocre or bad relationships talking about, that's why you're single. That's why you get no bitches. I'm like, I kind of like where I'm at. I feel like there's a last point I was meant to make here. There was a last point, I believe, I was born to make. But yeah, be happy, man. Be happy with where you are and where you're at. I think that's probably that's the point. Probably one of the grateful takeaways from therapy is realizing you're the driver of this thing called life. You're behind the wheel. You decide where you want to go. Yes. And also, if you're going to be single because find happiness in this. But don't be single because, and this is the biggest takeaway from therapy, is don't stay single because you convinced yourself that, bitches ain't shit, or that you or relationship ain't for you when like just be honest with yourself. I think that's really what I wanted to say. I think that's probably the biggest thing is being honest with yourself. If I were to share wisdom with anyone, it would be that. That's it. That's you know what, this deserves
So you're a philosopher?
Yes.
Yeah. Even though I didn't come here to preach. All right, keep learning, keep shining, some growth and all that things. All right, okay, that's it, man. This concludes today's episode of Shut Up Podcast, an episode that I had told myself wasn't going to be long because it's on a Wednesday, and I got other things to do. Let me look at the time. Oh, it's funny, I can't see the time. But website is shutuppodcast.com. Email address is shutuppodcast411@gmail.com. Holla if you hear me. That's the instinct. Holla if you hear me. If anything I said resonated, I want to hear from you. Let's bond over that kind of stuff. Because the kind of stuff I talk about is not the kind of stuff that the average male, neurotypical male, who I'm usually familiar with, would be into. That's it. Let's find each other. Let's make a tribe out of this thing. All right. I want to remind you that this podcast is a safe space for my thoughts, and they're protected by the red, the black, and the green, with the red, black, and the red, blue. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening, and remember, please be kind to your favorite podcast. All right, peace.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black.